How's everybody doing? Coming at you live and direct. All right, we got Father's Day. Chrissy got me this new chair, so styling now. Hoping everybody's doing all right. Sorry for being late. All right, you know. So let's get into this. I'm excited. You know, you already know what time it is. It's about to be that time. Let's see. I'm getting pulling up the OST now for my ear. We're over at OnePieceChapters.com as always. Okay. Ooh, we got a new member, Diz of the Ghost. Thanks for joining. Another one. Give me a second. All right. I don't know anything about this chapter, but I do know that I did see briefly that someone in the chat was saying that it was a 10 out of 10. So, I don't know. Maybe it is. We'll see what it's all about. I'm going to get into it. I have been fiending for this. These 2 weeks were, I had a lot of great time with family and all of that, and had a great Father's Day, and, and et cetera. Wonderful week with family. But, we're about this One Piece life. So, Chapter 17, Orders. Okay, so is this another Tama-related chapter? Are those going to be the orders? I'm living for this buggy page right here. You know what this kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of the 3D2Y special. He fought that cube guy and he was turning everybody into cubes. And here's Buggy in all types of different shapes. It's interesting that, I don't know if we've ever seen Buggy, like, chop himself up into, round shapes. Obviously, squares and things like that. And, I mean, other than his head and all that. But moving on, this was a more interesting cover page request than a lot of the ones we've been getting. All right. Got my girl Tama right here. First page. I'm on the first page right now. Wait. Connect my Bluetooth. It's not. There we go. Okay. We're starting. Dome interior, live floor. What is a brat doing in this war zone? We've got Queen has finally seen Tama. We've been talking about this. Queen has been, most of the time that they have been shown throughout Onigashima, they've been putting two and two together with what's my guy's name at the prison? Wow. I don't usually brain freeze on people's names. But You know who I'm talking about. And he knew that he did that phone call and all of that. That didn't work out. He knew that he had to get to... he knew something was going on. And then later on, he caught on. He was having a conversation with with King as well. So let's see if he figures this out. Where is Bao Wong? Who the hell are you? Did Tama just pass out? Now, did she pass out before she gave the order? Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go, people. We're finally getting some Jinbei versus Who's Who. Ah, man, we've been waiting for this for how long, guys? How long? Okay. I just took a brief look at the chat. We've got a whole bunch of members. Yep. Diz of the Ghost, the Hawaiian Punch. Let's see here.
Another.
We've got Coraline and Sagar Patel. Appreciate everybody joining the channel.
Savage.
Love it. All right. Now, even though Tama is passed out, this should not affect any of the orders that have already been given, because remember, Speed stayed under Tama's control even after Tama was knocked out by Kaido, all the way in Act 1. All right. So anyway, back to this. I'm reading this Jinbei and Who's Who stuff. I'm loving this. All right. Oh man, Jinbei is fighting like all of these people? Jinbei is a champ. Look at him go, man. He's got all these guys coming after him and he's handling it. Oh, we're switching. Oh boy. Alright, so we're getting vignettes. Which stacks up with the idea that the act could end, you know, if the vignette thing continues. All right, we're back to Frankie. No end to these grunts. All right, next page. Finally getting an update on Jack versus Inu Arashi. You know that Inu Arashi is, next on my prospected list of deaths. It just makes too much sense, and I feel like there's been a lot of foreshadowing. Oh, man. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, that's all we're getting? I mean, Inu Arashi's not looking good. He's got an arrow in his back. He's up against a lot more people than Jack. So did Tama give the order? Because now they're talking about the... Oh no, the pleasures and the waiters on the live floor betrayed us. Yeah, because that's because of Chopper or Marco and all of that. But now a bunch of gifters are coming out and they're fighting. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. Tama did not pass out. All right, here we go. See those Tamas in the chat. I can just hear this now. Dami and Usopp. Ganbatte, Otama-chan. Everyone who ate my Kibi Dango. She's still making a record of it. Please listen to me. It's that Brad Steele knocker off the ledge. Big Bro Luffy and his friends, Momonosuke-kun and his retainers, you're on their side now.
Savage.
All right. We get a little bit of a panel of Luffy. We see that he's been He has been saved. He's on the submarine. He's being resuscitated by Law's unnamed fodder. Jean Bart's in the background there, but you know, I don't know who the hell this other guy is. I don't think any of us do. We've never gotten names for these people. Okay, Shinobu Momonosuke. Shinobu using the glider that she's got, I'm assuming. Back to Tama. Let's do it together. Let's take down Kaido. Speed. We cut to Briscola. Now we know that Briscola was fighting against the Dango. Now that he gets his order, we're seeing that he's switching. So that's, you know, that was set up. Oda using Briscola to show the switch. Babanuki. That was the name I was trying to remember. Babanuki. Yeah. Knew it would come to me. I'm on the next page. Briscola's attacking with the gorilla. Now this is ever since his introduction, I've liked this design. I've liked this design a lot. What do I do with my water? Just his arm being a gorilla, ridiculous. All right, what's with the gifters? Leave it to us, Master. They're all obeying Tama now. We're seeing a bird-like creature. Is that the... I wonder if that's the one that we've been seeing in the anime lately. The female one, next to this centaur. Daifuga saying that they're going to take down Kaido. Alright, back to Jack and Inuarashi. Now I forget this giraffe one, but I remember in an SBS Oda said that this was one of their favorite designs, so I'm not surprised to see them come back. What was their name? Someone in the chat knows. Hamlet, that's it. Yeah, Hamlet has lost his mind. Yeah. I just need to see Fortrix come back, and I'll be good. We need my boy Fortrix. Okay, so now Poker's helping Jinbei. This lines up because we know that Poker was on the steps that led to Jinbei. So they were, so you know, that's Oda keeping track of where everybody is. That's good. That's good. This is fun. This is a lot of fun. And then we got this like big guy over here that looks like he's straight out of Kamen Rider. The gifters have switched sides. This will be fun in the anime. You know, we'll just see all of these people. You know, it'll just keep flopping back and forth. We'll have the announcement going on. We'll see everybody switching. This is great. All right, CP0. Still not doing anything, just giving us a question mark. All right. This is the right brain tower. They're running wild. The basement has also been compromised. What the hell's happening? Onigashima has fallen into chaos. All right. Queen's readying an attack. Oh, ho ho! You know what's about to happen, boys.
Bro, look, he got the heat on feet, bro.
Yeah. Sanji coming in clutch, saving Otama, Nami, and Usopp. Judge's son. Quit saying that name. I suppose you were a part of that insane research team. You mean Mads? Ah. Ooh. 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 Let's get those Sanjis in the chat. Let me see those heat on feets. You mean Mads? That's ancient history. All right, so now we have a name for Judge, Caesar, Vegapunk, and Queen. So they had a little group, and it was called Mads, which, of course, you know, tracks with sad and all of this. So, oh, man. Mind is just spinning with the name Mads. Oh, Caesar couldn't even be any more creative. He just chose a different emotion. All right, now check me out. I'm a cyborg, so I've got a whole bunch of tricks up my sleeve. All right, we've got hybrid cyborg queen. Wow, look at that tail. That's interesting. That's interesting. The Zorro pack. I need to see those Zorro packs right now. Right now. Let me see those Zorro packs. Alright. You betcha. I'm right as well. Just keep your eyes on the prize. Miyagi, my boy. Oh, wow. Oh my god. Chopper just got his he just got his Gear Third side effect. Are those his arms? Like, those little, like, flabby hot dogs? Are those his arms? Or is that part of the... No, that's just part of the hat. Where are his arms? This... I guess I see kind of an arm. I can kind of make one out. This is iconic. All right. Taking this can cause one's pain to double after it wears off. Well, Zor knows a little thing about doubling pain. No time to worry about that. Just give it to me. Yeah. There we go. There we go, Zorro. That's the way. Okay. Back to Who's Who. Wasn't expecting this, but I'm happy. Yes, interior 4th floor. I don't get what's going on, but I guess I can't afford to go easy on you now. Okay, so hold on. This man has this long ass sheath, and he pulls out a knife? Oh, did I just see this right? Blade pistol. Now that looks like some cipher pole, you know, madness right there. Blade pistol. Looks like he's like doing qigans with the little knife. Fishman karate. Okay, this man just hit him with the arabesque brick fist. Yeah, how did... What? Now he's doing a Soru. Oh man, this dude's Cypher Pole. Oh man, he talked about this, and he's doing a Rankyaku. Oh man, this guy's got all the Rokushiki techniques. Check out this hybrid form. Oh man. I remember hearing about a rogue member of CP9, the Secret Intelligence Agency, breaking out of prison. The idea of an official being arrested struck me as odd. Can't believe you know such an old story. Well, it's true. Back then, we never made direct contact, huh? I'm pretty happy with how things turned out, but I used to have it rough due to a mistake I made 12 years ago. I used to be considered a bright prospect, a rival to the genius Rob Lucci. Fang pistol. Now that's different. This man who is definitely built different. Whew, look at that dodge panel for Jinbei. See, this is why Oda has been saving this. Because he wanted to save this reveal. Okay. This man sent a flying bite that went through a pillar. Okay. I can see your talent. Use variants on the 6 powers I've never seen before. Situation sounds unfortunate, but it doesn't seem to have anything to do with me. On the contrary, you just said it yourself. You're a proud member of the Strike Crew. That name always reminds me of my bitter past. Interesting. Okay, what reveal are we gonna get? What do we got? 12 years ago, I failed to guard a devil fruit that was being transported on a government ship. I was shocked when Straw Hat Luffy came to prominence 2 years ago. That's when I learned that the stolen Gomu Gomu fruit had been eaten by him. A fruit important enough for the world government to guard? Whoo, people. Oh. Oh, God. Oh. Oh, fetal position. Oh. We're getting the heat. We're getting the heat, guys.
Bro, look, he got the heat on feet, bro.
Oh. Checking out these color pages. Okay, it's chat time. Woo! Well, I can certainly say that it was that time today. People. The Gomu no Mi. Alright, we're taking it back to chapter 1 today, Oda. We're taking it back to chapter 1. Taking it back to chapter 1. Alright. Oh, they stole it from an enemy ship. Man, if we get that flashback... Like, I don't even care about Kaido's flashback right now. I need Who's Who getting rocked by Lucky Roo taking the Gomu Gomu fruit right now. Oh, man. Alright, we got some super chats here. My guy, Evil Warrior.
Savage.
Chapter 1. He ate the fruit we stole from the enemy's ship. Absolute godlike reveal. Did the world government want it to counter the quake fruit, maybe? Now, that's been highly speculated, you know? That when Luffy finally awakens his fruit, that he'll be able to rubberize the air in the same way that Whitebeard was able to crack the air, which seemed, you know, it seems like an awakened, ability of that fruit. You know, the basic idea of the quake fruit, you know, I imagine at its base level would just create earthquakes on the ground, and if you touch someone, you know, you could kind of shake them up. But to quake the air, you know, that was an awakened ability by Whitebeard. I can't see that being any other way. But to rubberize the air, so if that earthquake was flying at Luffy and he just sort of like rubberized the air and then it bounces back, you know, if the world government was that afraid of Whitebeard, you know, then that would be a thing. I think it more so has to probably do with who was the previous user of the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Now, you know, we talked about this in the old theory stream that people thought that Roger had it for many years. Many years. People thought Roger had the fruit and that was going to be some, like, reveal in the series. But even now, that would still feel kind of cheap. Because we've met people that knew Roger. Someone would have said, oh, he has that power that used to be, you know, all of that. It more tracks if someone like Rox, who has been, you know, hidden from society, if he had the fruit. Now, a lot of people think that Porcus D. Rouge had the fruit. That's how she was able to hold Ace inside of her stomach for 20 months. You know, I mean, that tracks as well. But really just going to have to, like, do a deep dive onto, you know, events that happened 12 years ago. Who was around? Or even go, you know, a few years before that. You know, what would make sense? Who could have died? Who would have had that fruit? Who would have been in prominence? How long had the world government been holding on to that fruit? You know, it's obvious that Shanks was now trying to... sorry, I'm going to get to the other super chats. I'm just going on a tangent here because my mind is, like, moving from this. We know that Shanks actively sought out the fruit, right? And then Luffy just accidentally ate it. But, you know, of course, with Oda, every little thing is actually important. So now we just need to know why Shanks was after the fruit. Because, you know, the implication here is that Who's Who was protecting it for the government, right? Or did I miss that? And it's assuming, or is this painting Shanks as the bad guy? Let me see. Failed to guard a devil fruit that was being transported on a government ship. I was shocked when Luffy came to promise. That's when I learned this had been eaten by him. Okay. So used to have it rough due to a mistake I made 12 years ago. So he failed to stop Shanks. Is that enough for him to get locked up? So he failed to stop Shanks, and then they were just like, all right, you're done, pal. Like, this fruit is so important that we're putting you in Impel Down. There's a lot going on here, guys. There's a lot going on here. A lot to talk about. enter a name.
Savage.
Uzumaki Khan voice. Shanks is evil. Was that Uzumaki Khan's reaction when he got to Reverie? Oh, man. Chris Mike said Rob Lucci mentioned Who's Who in Ennie's lobby. Is this true? Because, like, someone tell me what chapter and panel that is, because I want to see that right now. I want to see that right now. Keyboard Cat said
Savage.
Red is sus. Yeah. We got Enigma Sword.
Savage.
Jinbei told Who's Who. That's crazy, but did I ask? And then we learned of the possibility that Shanks really ran that man's pockets, then vacationed to the East Blue. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. All right, I gotta shout out my man Vernon Co., who just dropped a big hundo here.
Lavish bracket. In a lavish bracket. Lavish bracket. Gotta have it. Right. Savage.
Thank you, my friend. Wow. That's wild. He said, hey, Randy, this is only my second time live, and unfortunately my last. I start a new job soon and won't be able to make it live anymore. You kept me sane through long night shifts, so genuinely thank you so much. I'll miss the live community, but I'll see you in the Discord. Vern, I appreciate you, man. I love that, you know, the long night shifts and all that. Like that's cool. That's cool. Oh man, yeah. Once you know, I don't know what the work schedule is, but you know, once I start getting into a more groove back in the industry and all of that, I'll probably be working on Fridays as well, and I'll have to move these to Saturdays. So you know, whenever that happens, I don't know if you're working weekends, but you know, you can jump back in at that time. But I'm not stopping doing this, so you know, hopefully I can keep you sane during the day shifts too, man. You know, and I gotta say, everybody in here is keeping me sane. You know, I appreciate you guys. You know, like this is awesome. I say this all the time, but I wish I didn't wait for the pandemic to, you know, start doing all this. You know, always needed people to talk about One Piece with, and I never really didn't have it too much. But appreciate you, man. You know, let's throw some W's in the chat for my guy Vernon Co. here. Thank you. Brandon King.
Savage.
Shanks stole the fruit for future Joy Boy to eat. Yeah, but at the same time, I don't believe that Shanks... he certainly didn't believe that Luffy would be Joy Boy. You know, I think that there's a possibility that Shanks really showed up there because he knew that he probably found out about Ace. I don't necessarily know how that tracks up with the time that he met Ace, you know. But if he knew that Roger's son, maybe not even by name or looks or whatever, was on that island, he would probably want to look after him, you know. And in that sense, maybe intended the fruit for Ace. Possibilities. Tinfoil, you know, but possibilities. I don't think that Shanks probably had any idea that Luffy could be Joy Boy until right before he left, and that's why I gave him the hat. He may have had an inkling. I mean, that's why he saved him. Bet his arm on you know, the new age. But I think that final moment is what solidified it. You know, him promptly. But then again, there is the line that Shanks had with Rayleigh where he said that Luffy would say all the time that the things that Roger used to say, which I think is still ambiguous. Right? We still don't really know what that is. But when we find out, we'll probably get a Shanks and Luffy flashback, and then that'll actually be the light bulb moment for Shanks that, like, oh, I need to protect this kid. Very motivated, said transporting with a CP9 agent, though. Yeah, they wanted to protect this. Chris Mike said, Randy, check out chapter 421. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. All right, I'm doing that right now. I'll get to the other super chats in a second, because this is what we're here for, guys. This is what we're here for. All right. I'm going to chapter 421, and they're saying page 9. That's what King J just said, page 9. I feel like I want to like reread Enies Lobby in its entirety too, because there might be like, now I want to go back to the first instance that Luffy sees, that Lucci sees Luffy's ability, because if Oda did like a ... like, oh, you know, like, you know, looking at him or something, then, you know, it's just Goto all day. All right, 421, Gear 3rd. Now it's funny that you know, it's the chapter with Gear 3rd, because we had that chopper thing this chapter. This is ridiculous. All right, page 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're really cut out to be the boss. I want a certain idiot to hear that. But will your abilities meet that resolution? All right, so that's kind of a reach, guys. I think that's I think it's a reach unless there's a different translation. Unless there's a different translation, I think that's a reach. I mean, it tracks a little bit if he's talking about that. I think it could relate, but it might relate to whoever else was on that ship, and not just who's who. Kujiseki said, if Roger had the Goma Goma fruit, I'm gonna hate that. It's definitely on track for a reel that someone had the fruit. Yeah, I don't really want it to be Roger either, but people have always had the idea that, you know, out of nowhere we'd get a Roger flashback and we just hear like Goma Goma no or something. It would be funny if that, you know, if we go back to the previous chapter where Kaido was like, Goma Goma no, what was it again? But it was a reference to the fact that he knew the previous user of the Goma Goma no Mi, and that person used to yell Goma Goma no before attacking. All right. Super chat from Maxo. Thank you, my guy.
Savage.
I feel like it can't really be rocks. Like, it would be weird if Big Mom, Kaido, and Whitebeard just kept their mouths shut when they saw Luffy's Devil Fruit. That's how I feel, you know? Like, even if it was Roger's fruit. So, but somebody important had to have it. You know? Thomas Weirchick, thank you.
Savage.
So if Lucci is CP0, who is Lucci level, and Lucky Roo, who is second Yonko Commander level, stole the fruit from him. This means that second Yonko Commander is greater than CP0. Confirmed, guys. Yeah, it was a Power Scaler voice request, a super chat. But to take it even more into the Power Scaler thing, I would have to say that, well, technically, you know, Who's Who never got a chance to become CP0, but Lucci did, and CP0 is supposed to be higher than CP9, and that's where, you know, kind of Who's Who capped out, so I guess that means that Lucci is greater than Who's Who. Alexander Massaro, thank you.
Savage.
If cracking the air is an awakened ability, how could Blackbeard use it the moment he got the fruit? Well, Blackbeard was likely already an awakened user of the Yami Yami no Mi, and it's probably a situation where if you understand the principles of awakening one fruit, you probably can awaken another. So, like, there's no way that liberation for Blackbeard and all of that isn't an awakened aspect of it. You know, being able to suck all of that in and then throw it out. Chen said, I need the Fortrix backstory. Chicken emoji. I do too. Ryo said Spandam made it into CP0, but Who's Who didn't. Spandam's greater than Who's Who, guys. Confirmed.
Savage.
Ugh. My guy AJ1218. Guys, I don't think Gin is showing up. Yeah. RIP all the people who were saying that Who's Who is Gin, even though the age didn't match. Anyway. The hybrid forms are looking clean, yeah. Let's see, where are we? Chin up. JP, thank you.
Savage.
The Gomu Gomu being special could be as simple as Vegapunk and the SSG identified it as useful for making the pacifistas, etc., more durable. So that's interesting. Yeah. Because that also tracks with my idea of what the SSG is anyway, right? Because you see the pacifistas, they clearly have been infused with an element of Kizaru's ability, right? Maybe not completely, entirely in there, but, you know, they can't, they can't turn into light, but they can utilize light in a paramecia way rather than a Logia way. So I think that's what Vegapunk was able to do. He's able to take the lineage factor of Logias and turn them into paramecia properties that he was able to put inside the pacifistas. Now, if he can put multiple fruits into these SSG, then wanting the Gomu Gomu just to be more durable would make it pretty wild. I want to shout out new member Craig McKinnon.
Another one.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Savage.
DJ Red Comet 369. Thank you. They know about Luffy's fruit. Shanks holds a significant threat. Knowing Blackbeard can take devil fruits, is that why Shanks is going to attack Blackbeard? So this is interesting. Yeah. Because we know that Blackbeard's going after fruits. We know that the government views Luffy's fruit as something special. So they would want to keep Blackbeard away from the fruit. The Gorosei would totally know about that if they were putting CP agents on, to protect it. Man. Well, if Shanks is going to attack Blackbeard anyway, you got to realize, a lot of people expect Shanks, like one of the twists of the story to be that Shanks is actually evil or something like that. I mean, it's possible. But at the same time, this man did give up his arm for Luffy, right? So he bet his arm on Luffy. So he expects Luffy to reach some sort of pinnacle, to reach some sort of plateau, and to do something. And that tracks with everything that we know about Joy Boy, that we know about everything we're reading with Poneglyphs, Laugh Tale, etc. He wants Luffy to become the Pirate King. So he's going to stand in the way of Blackbeard if Blackbeard's trying to kill Luffy or anything like that. And Blackbeard is one of the most dangerous pirates out there. Like, he could do it. From Shanks' perspective. So that's why he would step in. Fingers crossed. Thank you.
Savage.
The Yami Yami no Mi and the Gomu Gomu no Mi look kind of similar. Maybe there was a weird misconception back in the day, so they protected it so heavily. So that's interesting. Yeah, they do look kind of similar. I mean, in when you compare most fruits, obviously like Kaku's fruit was a banana, and the Mara looks, like a flame. But I remember the Yami Yami kind of resembling the Gomu Gomu, but I'm not going to rule that out. I mean, that's possible, but at the same time, Who's Who knew what the fruit was, so there's that as well. Let's see. Hoven Lim.
Savage.
Thank you. Your final crew, ? Mine is Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, Chopper, Robin, Frankie, Brook, Jinbei, Carrot, Yamato, Tama, Momo, Vivi. And 1% of me trusts Morge, so Smoker. Just 1%. So, my final crew is pretty similar. Definitely Tama, Momo, Vivi. Yamato is still sort of up in the air because I think that he has a great chance of joining the crew, but there's so much emphasis on his own personal desire to join that I could see Oda pulling a fake out and like killing Yamato, right? Like, we're expecting this, and this is someone that actually knows the end of the story to begin with because they've read the logbook. So it's not, I'm not sitting here, I'm not, saying like, oh, I really expect Yamato to die or anything like that, but It would be something that Oda's never done before, right? So that's where it would kind of be new. This person wants to join but then dies. So we don't get that, and then the will carries on through Momonosuke because now Momo has the logbook. So just saying that that's a possibility. Carrot is sort of up in the air for me, and we need to see what other feats and what else she does during the arc. And I do not see Smoker joining at all. He'll definitely be an ally in the final war, but I think that his own code will never allow himself to take on the title pirate. He may even ride on the ship with them and all of that. You know, like, I watched Morge's video on Smoker, and, like, everything that he says tracks, but at the same time, like, not to actually join, though. Like, yes, Smoker has been set up to turn against the world government. We see that in Alabasta and all of that. Like, even the simple conversation that he has with Tashigi, like, figure your own justice out, right? And then how pissed he was when the government covered up the fact that Luffy is the one that saved the kingdom, not him. He didn't want that title. So there, and then, you know, everything with Punk Hazard, actually seeing them save these kids and all this, like, Smoker's conflicted. I don't think that he's a member of Sword. He could join later on. You know, I do believe that Aokiji is a member of Sword. And if you go back and you look at that conversation between Aokiji and Smoker, he's kind of like hinting at that, you know, that Aokiji is hinting at that, you know, he's part of something else, but he's not telling Smoker what it is. And that's the way I see it going. Something's gonna happen. Smoker's going to join them, but not join them. Let's see. All right. Very motivated. Thank you.
Savage.
I think Mads is tied to the Logia Paramecia the way that Sad is tied to Zoans. That could explain some of the Vinsmoke Boy's abilities, lightning, fire. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. I like how that tracks. And I was thinking that as well. I was thinking that as well because I've always... you know, we know that the lineage factor and all of that stuff is tied directly to the Vinsmokes to begin with. And for Sanji to wield fire as easily as he does, right? So there has to have been something done with, like, the Maramara no Mi and, like... I mean, did they at some point have the Goro Goro no Mi? But then how did it get all the way to Burka for Enel to eat it? You know, there has to be some sort of these properties, because for Niji to wield lightning and for it was revealed, I believe, that Reiju actually does have a devil fruit. So I don't know what it is, but it's probably some sort of, like, poisonous moth or butterfly or something like that. Yeah. And then, you know, it's also, there's just so many layers to it as well, because you look at Yanji, right, with his winch and how he's able to detach his arm and all this other stuff. Like, that's exactly what Queen is doing with his tail and his neck. So there's a lot of stuff here, but I think that there's I personally want it to be a twist that Sanji really isn't the failed experiment. That the fire that he produces and all of that is part of the experiments that were done. Like, that's the way that that's the way I think it should be in the story. You know, he's the failed experiment in the sense that he is kind. He wasn't. His emotions weren't removed from the equation. But as far as the powers, I mean, look how strong he is. Look at the fire. Like, it's. Yeah. I think you're right on with that, Barry. Very motivated also said they had a dip and chopper merch and needed new ideas. Oh, they're definitely making a figure of that. Oh man. see. Matt C said, LOL, so Tama, Momo, and Vivi gonna join, but not Yamato? Straight bugging, bro. Yamato can totally join. I'm just saying that there's the possibility for Oda to like really pull a fast one on us and do a twist. I'm not opposed to Yamato joining, and I think that they'd be a good, a solid member of the crew. But at the same time, most of the time, people joining is supposed to be unexpected, right? And most casual readers definitely wouldn't expect Momo and Tama to join and be apprentices, but the foreshadowing is there with Roger and having Shanks and Buggy when they were kids. And then Vivi, that's just foreshadowed. She's coming back. That's what the whole like goodbye scene was about. Eventually, she's gonna come back. Kaido-sama said, glads. Oh, man. You guys are trying to... So, Sad is Owen, Mads is Logia, and then the Paramecia is glads. You heard it here first. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Vegas Simp. Also, Randy, does this chapter confirm Kiku and Kinemon's death? Momo cried like they died, and he should know better than anyone. They're dead, guys. They're dead. Kinemon might come back for, like a last thing right before dying, but that's it. That's it, And it would be like a, Terminator 2 thing, like, final battery, life coming in, it was like that panel even reminded me of the end when the T-1000, like stabs the Terminator through the thing, and and then he pulls the pipe through him and he gets back up for one last thing. But Kinemon's gone. Kiku is definitely gone. Kanjuro is dead. Ashura Doji is dead. A lot of people don't believe he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. And he went out exactly the way he wanted. He protected his friends. People were like, oh, this isn't, they wanted something more. Ashura Doji is not that big of a character, guys. It's fine. Shout out to Young Yeet.
Savage.
I think that the last user of the Gomu Gomu was Joy Boy, and based on the size of the hat we saw in Mary Joyce, that he was also a giant. We've seen how creative and destructive Luffy can be with it. Now imagine Giants Gear 3. Yeah, so when one of my earliest theories, going way back, I had this theory like right when I was reading Ennie's Lobby Weekly, and we saw the Gear 3rd fist for the first time. There's probably a post on Arlong Park about it from way back, where I was like, Luffy's final form was that he was going to like blow himself up into a giant, and that was something that I expected. Like if he can do it with his fist, then he'd be able to do it eventually at some point with his entire body. So if that still tracks, what if Joy Boy wasn't a giant but was able to do that? I'm getting tinfoil here, but then like the awakened form of that was that he turned into a giant, was able to infuse air into the muscles and all that and maintain that position for a while, and then the hat fits at that point. I don't know. Or maybe Hulk pants rules applied. The hat just grew with him. That's a little too wacky for One Piece, but I think it would be cool, if that was something that he was able to do. I mean, you take a look at Chopper, right? He's got the human fruit, but his awakened form is that he's able to turn into a giant, right? Which is, giants are, they're human. They're just giants. So there's There's something there. Giovanni Velez said Gear 5 Giant Man. I mean, I'm here for it. Bernardo said, please no giant Luffy, please. Anthony Rieger, thank you.
Savage.
No way Yamato joins. He already knows the end of the story from Oden's journal. Luffy doesn't want anyone in the crew that knows. See the discussion in Shaki's bar in Savagery. So the only way that I could see it, necessarily working is that if Oden left it still ambiguous in the journal, like may have highlighted some important things, or that people are important and all of this, but kept it vague, then some of it is still a mystery to Yamato, and they can put the puzzles together, and as Rayleigh said, you may come to your own conclusion. So there's that as well. Right now, like if if we were able to gamble on One Piece crew members, people putting their money on Yamato would be a decent bet. You'd go on Gold Derby or whatever, and you'd see that all the top analysts would probably be putting that. But there's other horses in the race, and the other thing too is that ties and triple ties are not out of the question either. We've never seen it. We've never really, other than technically Eni's lobby with getting Robin and Frankie, even though Robin was already joined, but officially Robin and two people did join in Eni's lobby. We've never had more than one person join, so Wano would be different. And technically, like, having apprentices would be almost its own thing entirely, in my opinion. So it's sort of, we can all sit here and say, I can say there's no way that Carrot joins, there's no way that this person joins, or whatever, but the truth is that this is Oda's story, and there's a chance that even Fortrix joins. Not really. There's not a chance. Whoa. Keyboard Cat just said, who's who is in the Ohara flashback?
Savage.
I mean, that could track, right? How much older is Robin than Luffy? She was 28 pre-time skip. He was 18. She's 10 years older than him. I'm not here to do math, but we're gonna do some math. 12 years ago, Luffy was 8. She would have been 18. 14 years ago. Yeah, no, 12 years ago. Oh God, this is hurting my brain. Trying to figure out who's who is 38 years old. During the Ohara incident, he would have been how old? Robin was 8. She's 30 now. That was 22 years ago. He would have been 16 during Ohara. So he would have still been a recruit, if anything. Do we see a 16-year-old CP agent in the Ohara flashback? I'm seeing all this stuff with Matt C. saying that Yamato is a girl. That's what they're saying. So just trying to justify the folder on his computer. We don't know. We need more confirmation on Yamato. Okay. Someone says she for Yamato. You know, I'm not necessarily going to get up in arms about that, but someone says he, you're not wrong either until Oda clarifies it. Now, if you go ahead and, you know, you come into my chat and you say that Kiku's a he, then, you know, get out of here. Loggy Doggy, did I miss a donation from you? Okay, yeah. Let's see. Loggy Doggy.
Savage.
Chapter 392, page 18. Let's see. Now, is this going to be a situation where, just like when Marco was first introduced in episode 151 and he had like black hair or whatever, we're going to go back and we're going to find this guy didn't have pink hair. All right, page 18, so that's towards the end of the chapter when the CP 9 guys are there. So that's... we talking about this page where it was Spandine was introduced, and then he's got someone behind him that's sort of who's who-y with glasses and a hat, and even in the colored version of the manga that I'm looking at right now, has him as a sort of a pinkish almost. It's more of like an orange. I mean, like I could see why people would think that. That's possible. You know, can't rule it out. Let's see. Alright, catch him back up, catch him back up. Demon Gunner 7, thank you.
Savage.
In terms of who will be next Straw Hat discussion, Oda always changes expectation for who will become a Straw Hat. He's always done it. Question though, Randy, shouldn't Momo stay behind to govern Wano? So the way that I see it is that, sure, yeah, you know, he could stay behind and govern Wano. But why would he need to do that if Tenguyama Hitetsu turns out to be Sukiyaki, right? Same voice actor in the anime, and I've had people come at me and they're like, you know, Bon Clay and Frankie have the same voice actor, so blah blah blah. And then my answer to that is, yeah, also so does Django. They're all voiced by Kazuki Yao. But the, you know, we could sit here and, you know, and talk about different actors that have voiced multiple characters throughout the series all day. You know, Brooke's voice actor was Sabo's dad. Like, they reuse people a lot, but at the same time, for two prominent characters in one arc to have the same voice actor is sort of, you know, that's Oda, you know, slipping it in there. Now we've talked about Sukiyaki being Hitetsu for a while now. And, when that came out, they started doing the other flashback, and they were the same voice actor. It was kind of like, guys, it's there. There's a lot of connections. The Kokeshi doll stuff, the fact that Orochi never flat out said that Sukiyaki died or like what he did with him. So I still feel that Sukiyaki was just imprisoned, but somehow got away. And then, that's why he can't go to the capital, because he is the former shogun. And, but now, because Orochi isn't around or anything like that, that's why he showed up with Toko to the fire festival, and was able to take off the wings and the without getting rid of the mask, but for most of the Tengu costume that he's got going on. So the arc ends. Hitetsu reveals himself to be Sukiyaki. He resumes as shogun. We talked about this in the Tama Theory video. We've seen this happen countless times. Oda is as unpredictable as he is. There's elements that are always predictable about Oda. He loves the theme of a fallen king. Talked about it in the Tama Theory. Riku, right? Fallen, hides himself, right, in the Kurita Coliseum as Riki. Then becomes, he returns to the throne by the end. In Alabasta, Cobra was, we saw it in real time that, Crocodile was trying to usurp the throne from him and all of that, and then he gets it back. Skypiea, it's the same thing with Gonfall. Enel came in, took away, the original god's throne and all that, but by the end, Gonfall resumes his place of power. You could for smaller instances, you could say that Boodle was sort of the same thing. Buggy came in, took over the town, and he was the disgraced mayor, king, leader of that. He comes in, by the end of it, he takes his town back. Dalton, also a similar theme. He's not the king, but by the end of the arc, he becomes the king, and he's the most regal person and the person who was actually taking care of everybody while Wapol left. So, it would not surprise me at all if Sukiyaki was actually still alive, takes over Wano until Momo is able to do it. Now, he could stay behind. Sukiyaki being alive means that there's another person out in the world that can read and write poneglyphs. If that's the case, he can teach Momonosuke. It doesn't have to be a situation where Robin is the only person to do it. But there's an element of Momonosuke probably wanting to see and explore even more of what his dad saw. He didn't get to go to Laugh-Tale. So, and now with everything going on with the journal, how important he is, you go back to 996, you look at the way that Yamato was, saying that Momonosuke is so imperative for the Dawn and all of that. So it just tracks the idea that Momonosuke is probably one of the ancient weapons, able to control Uranus, maybe not Uranus. Well, it might be Uranus, but at the same time control Zunisha and potentially other creatures of that size. That may be what is necessary in the final war, And whereas like Shirahoshi also being an ancient weapon wouldn't technically officially join and wasn't on the ship or whatever, Momo could be that version. So there's a lot of ways that Momonosuke could join. Aesthetically, he's got a color scheme that fits. The dragon ability and all of that, you just imagine color spreads and all of that, and you got the two kids there as well. I see it. So there's a lot of opportunities. If Denjiro doesn't die, he could help govern if it turns out that Sukiyaki and Hitetsu are two different people. Hiyori could govern in his place. There's a lot of options. Is Oda really going to have an 8-year-old take over an entire country? It's probably going to be a situation where, when he's older, he's going to go ahead and take care of all of that. And if they get Kaido out of Wano completely, and actually restore the land to its former glory, Momonosuke might feel inclined to, and okay with leaving it. having protectors there, like potentially Denjiro if he doesn't die. Vasil Vlad Ivanovici, thank you.
Savage.
What if Blackbeard will steal all of the road poneglyphs and sail first to Laughdale? Everybody will be disappointed, but Luffy will, with a confident smile, will point out and say it's that way by using the voice of all things. That's interesting. I think that it tracks that Blackbeard gets there first. He's had this plan in place longer than Luffy ever did. And I think it would be interesting for the story if Blackbeard even becomes the Pirate King first. And then Luffy has to take the title from him. I want to see a panel, right? Because I keep going back to this thing about Rayleigh saying that you may come to a different conclusion than we did. And obviously Roger's crew showed up and they all laughed at whatever the One Piece was, whatever Joy Boy left behind on Laughdale. I want to see an identical panel to that, but I want to see someone who doesn't have the reaction that Roger did. I want to see someone get upset by what's there. I want to see someone that is angry, disappointed, sad. And what if that's Blackbeard? He gets to Laughdale and he's expecting something grand and all of this, but, he's not the one that they were waiting for. And then we just get this full-page spread of Blackbeard sort of making a face like, what is this? It's also kind of how I feel about rocks, right? And I plan on recording like my own theory about rocks and having gotten to Laughdale first, and I'll probably do that next week and try and get that out before the Kaido flashback comes out. Because there's a lot that I want to say about it, but I'll save it for that video. I've talked about it a lot in the streams anyway. Because, the main thing, especially with trying to predict the story, right? And, coming from the writing perspective that I have and all of that, is whenever Oda sets something up, right? I try to think of the various ways that it can go, and I try to think of the way that it could be flipped. And, Oda does that a lot. He sets something up and then he gives us an opposite turn of it sometimes. So it just seems appropriate that we would see someone go to Laughdale and have a different reaction than Roger did. And it would be better to have that because then Luffy could have a similar reaction to Roger. I don't want Luffy to be the one that gets there and has the sad or angry reaction. Yeah. Lucy B said, "Hi everybody, greetings from the Canary Islands. Found an internet cafe." Well, are you on vacation or something? And I'm love that you're here, but I hope you're enjoying your vacation as well. If that's what's going on. Naveen Jain. Tama is Luffy's apprentice, Momo is Zoro's apprentice. Yeah, and Robin's. Because he's still got to learn about the poneglyphs and all of that. Vern and Co. The only reason to put a mask on a character is to reveal it later. Exactly, right? That's why I was able to, when Yamato was introduced, right? When they showed up with a mask, I was like, okay, they keep saying Yamato is Kaido's son, but it's got to be, what if it's a biological daughter? And that was because they were wearing a Hanya mask as well, which is a jealous female demon in Kabuki theater, so it wouldn't track for a male to have that. That's going way back, but it's like that's the idea that I'm talking about, how Oda would set something up and then flip it and change it, and that's the secret to predicting Oda. and reading Japanese mythology, I guess. So Project Black Onyx said, stop calling Yamato a dude when she got a fat behind booty. And I'm not going to finish the rest of the sentence. So look, Yamato wants to be referred to as male. All right, Project Black, that's like, I mean, this is a poor example or whatever, but my name's Randy, right? I tell you my name is Randy, and you call me, I don't know, Dave, right? It's a little disrespectful, right? Because, my name's Randy. I told you what my name is. I told you what I want to be called. Okay? Yamato is introduced, tells Luffy, I am Kaido's son. Okay? Luffy immediately started calling Yamato Yamagai, right? Because that's what Yamato asked. That's what they said that their name was. That's it. Okay? Physical descriptions aside, I'm tired of having these conversations. We'll see when we get the Viva Card data books, what the deal is. But, that might be, we know that Kiku is trans and all that, but that might be, but Yamato's journey may be becoming comfortable in their own body. It may be a situation where Yamato was actually forced to believe themselves to be male, because that's part of the Joy Boy prophecy. And Kaido, calling Yamato his son, right, may have been someone that beat that into Yamato as a child. Disappointed that he had a daughter. So forced Yamato to be a son. That's an angle. We don't know. But in the time being, but realistically, if we wanted to be completely fair to Yamato, we should be calling them Odin. Because that's what they really want to be called. But they also said, I am Yamato, and I am Odin, and I am also Yamato, my other name. So we can call them both. AJ1218.
Savage.
Chrissy, whenever Randy has a bad take, can we call him Dave? Oh god, that's gonna become a thing. But you see, the thing is, guys, I have no idea. I have no problem. I'm just here. I'm here to have fun and all of that. But if I get people and trolls and all of this stuff, and they say stuff, I'm gonna call them out. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm keeping on track. But sometimes people need to be educated on some things. And that's just the way it is. Lucy B asked, did Randy like the chapter? Oh, I loved this one. This one was, the reveal at the end was the whole rest of the chapter wasn't, but could have been trash, and that ending would have been oh man, we got something to talk about for a while now. Vernon Coe, my guy.
Savage.
This is just because I respect you sticking up for Yamato in nearly every stream. Respect to you and all others. Appreciate that. It's the whole thing, man. I'm not about the slander and all this, and at the same time, like I've said, everything's still ambiguous. It's still ambiguous. It's not with Kiku. No. But Yamato, we still need, more development with that. We need the flashback. We need the context. But for the time being, with the context that we have, that's the pronoun I'm going with. Lucy B said, I was sailing a sailing boat yesterday, so am I a straw hat now? I mean, you could be a straw hat if you want, but you could also be whatever. You could be your own pirate. Harry J. said, Randy honestly hasn't talked about the chapter that much. We did at the beginning. I mean, we were getting a lot of questions, and we were coming up with theories that have to go along with this. We spent a lot of time on the last page, and just the implications of that, the implications of who's who, the implications of Shanks, where could who's who have been otherwise in the story. So... Let's see.
Savage.
Diz of the Ghost. We need that 1018 future sight predictions. Okay. Well, that's. I got you. We're coming to that. I'm gonna go back to the chapter. I'm gonna start looking at it again, and I'm gonna start thinking about the things. How we gotta. So just hang tight for that. I'm gonna get to that. Vernico again, thank you. Thoughts on the mink Zenzu beans? Did the minks have some, some sort of senzu bean that they were using? What's actually interesting that you say senzu beans for the minks is that I've always thought that the, when we first found about Sulong, right, with Carrot and all of that, and the way that the transformation happened, and then the way it was animated, right? I've always gone back to Fishman Island and felt that those pills that Hody and them were taking was like some sort of an experiment to recreate or replicate the mink transformation, right? Because they turned white and all of this, and then it just had some like wacky side effect, and it was probably just banned for a long time because they knew the side effect was going on. But Inu's looking in a bad way right now. Let's see. The Renowned and Fabled.
Savage.
Thanks for sticking up for Yamato. After Ivankov, it's kind of silly that we're still having so much discussion about something that doesn't matter. Exactly. Enjoy the story for what it is, But at the end of the day, it's like that's what the text says. That's what it's like. We're here to enjoy the story. That's why I'm here. I'm just having fun, I love talking about One Piece and all that. And like Oda he's so inclusive that it's amazing, And I know that a lot of people had issues early on until Kiku, with like the way he drew Bon Clay, the way he drew Ivankov, the way like he drew all of the Okamas on Kamabaka, and it's like, he's like making really cool characters, but why does he have to draw them that way? And it's like, okay, fine, that's a reasonable thing, but at the same time there are other stories and all of that are crafting these types of characters, and they're making them like actual caricatures, and not making them fleshed out characters. Like everybody loves Bon Clay, he's goated. Everybody loves Ivankov, goated. And but Kiku was like the first representation for the trans community that was like, you couldn't, it wasn't some sort of wacky design. They just were. It wasn't a part of their identity or anything. It just sort of, it was just like they were a samurai first. That's it. The other stuff didn't matter. That's what made Kiku great. So all of this stuff doesn't matter. Ryo, my guy.
Savage.
So Dave, what are your thoughts about Luffy and Wano? Advanced voice of all things or whatever? Joy Boy prophecies, and now the Gomu Gomu is seemingly special. I trust Oda, but I don't like making Luffy more special than he already is. And this goes back to, my initial disappointment of finding out that I just saw in the chat, you're talking about the medicine that they're giving Zoro right now. That's the Mink Senzu bean. I thought that was something that Chopper had created. So I'm going to have to go and reread that section for a second. Anyway, back to Ryo. My initial reaction, I've talked about this a lot, like to Dragon being Luffy's dad, was sort of like, oh no, Oda's going down the same, trap that, the main character is the most important character in the story. They're the chosen one in all of this. But the different way that I look at it is that the story that Oda is crafting is almost the definitive version of every trope. Oda uses a lot of tropes, but he does them so well that it's admissible once you get to to a certain point with all of it. It's kind of like, all right, I agree with it. We've been reading the story so long that it's like, and you see the foreshadowing. Luffy is being set up to be the chosen one, but he also said right from the beginning that he wanted to be the Pirate King, which is like one of the most lofty titles in this world. So while, yes, there are characters, I do appreciate the started from the bottom, now we're here and all of that. And there is an element to Luffy that, he did start he started from the barrel, now he's here. But, things aren't coming to him fast. He's earning them. He's working towards them. Yeah, he's set up from the start. He's got advanced voice of all things. He's got all the types of hockey. He's got this special devil fruit now. He's the prophesized guy. He's the one that's going to unite the world with the help of everyone else. And Luffy has been uniting people all along the way, right? Mihawk said that's his special power, that he draws people to him. And what does this world need? It needs freedom. It's an oppressed world. You got slaves. You got the world government controlling these slaves. So there's so much, and Luffy, whether he wants to or not, he is freedom going around and just helping every place that he goes. So I'm okay with it. But my name's Randy. Ultima.
Savage.
Sorry I missed the reaction. I had a theory that Nero was Who's Who until this chapter. Still wonder if he'll return. That's interesting. Did Nero have pink hair, though? I don't know. That doesn't track anyway, because Nero was, like, seemingly young or, sort of around the same age as, like, some of the other guys, I think. Nero was interesting, but was definitely like a throwaway character just to sort of explore more of the Rokushiki techniques and give Frankie a little bit of spotlight. Similar to how I don't necessarily expect Wanze to come back. There are certain characters that, like Bellamy, right? And we've talked about this. A character that is meant to come back and is meant to have, different stages of evolution. But then there are other characters that just service a particular moment in time or a particular theme. And Nero was there, I think, mostly to show that there are other recruits, there are other people that could attain this later on, and also just to, give Frankie a solid chance to earn his place as a Straw Hat. I'm seeing all of this stuff about everybody wants to join Lucy B's crew. Predictions for Fortrix? Asked Pedro. We need more Fortrix. That's for sure. I'm reading the chat and I'm just laughing at all this stuff about the crew. Cigar Patel.
Savage.
Official translation for 421. You're worthy of being captain. I'd like to tell a certain idiot I know about you. Sorry, they're really behind on the stream. No worries. No worries. We did talk about this, but I'm glad that someone gave me the official translation because I didn't go and check the viz yet for that. I mean, it's possible. It really is. I mean, it's possible. It's kind of a reach, but then at the same time, it's... Who else could we be talking about, He could also be talking about whoever was, in charge of that operation, right? Who trained them? Were they trained by Spandine? Do they actually maybe respect Spandine and don't respect Spandam? Some of these other guys, you go back to that thing in 392, you have this guy in the white hair that looks like he's a beast. He looks like someone that, could definitely fight. Maybe that's the guy that actually trained these guys or something, But considering that Who's Who, made a grave mistake with the Goma Goma no Mi, maybe that's possible. Maybe that is who it is. He is an idiot. And he couldn't necessarily tell Who's Who because Who's Who was in Impel Down. Man. So, I mean, it's still sort of up in the air, but I mean, I think that the implication here, right, is that Jinbei and Who's Who did meet at Impel Down, right? Or do we still not know where they met? Because I'm making an assumption here based on what I read, that, Who's Who freed himself when everybody else broke out of Impel Down 2 years ago. Which, is crazy because, when we were talking about Who's Who could be, we were saying that, if Jinbei knew him, then he had to be in Impel Down. But then I remember also saying that it was possible that he was a Cypherpole agent. And it was just... And that was one of the things I was leaning towards the most, but it ended up being both of those things, which is just wild. And I know a lot of people had, everybody under the sun made their own predictions, and it just seems like all of them are right. Now if he ends up taking his mask off and he has a third eye, it's going to be like, he was everything. He was a Cypher Pole agent, an Impel Down escapee, and a Third Eye Tribe member. Ugh. I should have picked a cooler name than Dave. All right, I'm looking back at the chapter right now. We're going to start getting into some 10-18 predictions. So let's see. Sorry, Vernico. He just said that his name is Dave. No disrespect to any Daves out there. Alright, so I'm looking back at the chapter now. Loved all this stuff with Tama, of course. You know, it was what we expected. Needed to happen. Another one. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know that like one of the things I was most looking forward to, one of the things I was most waiting for was Jinbei and Who's Who. Point blank period. Like this was the fight that I wanted the most, because Who's Who is the most interesting member of the Toby Roppo, in my opinion. And this was great. Inuarashi does not look good. You know, a lot of people, as far as 10-18 predictions, a lot of people believe that you know, the next chapter is going to be the end of the act, right? And that's because Act 1 was 15 chapters, Act 2 was 30 chapters, and 10-18 marks the 60th chapter of... And if you want to go... If it's a situation where Oda is trying to double, you know, and also keep in mind that people had the same idea when 45 came up. Thought it was going 15, you know, everything was increasing by 15. Now, the idea is that it's going to go 15, 30, 60, 30, 15, and create a triangle for 5 acts. If we're doing 5 acts, that's possible. I would love 10-18 to be the end of the act, because it means we're going to get some reverie stuff, and we need that. We need that. Something bad has to happen in the next chapter, because we've had such a win this chapter, right? Tama got the orders, all of this. I don't necessarily see a scenario where Tama loses control of the gifters, because that should have happened in Act 1 when Kaido hit her. So if anything happens to Tama now, and then the sugar rules do apply and she gets knocked out, and then everybody like reverts back to being a bad guy and have to get re-dangoed, that's just going to make Kaido look bad. You know, power scaler, voice, all, whoever like knocks out Tama and, you know, does this, they're stronger than Kaido. You know. Drake Lucan said, Act 3 ending next chapter makes no sense with the way things are going now. Honestly, I see a world where it could happen. I can see a world where it doesn't, but the thing is that since we had so many vignettes this chapter and we got caught up on a lot of stuff, really all we need to do is get like a little bit of Robin and Brooke next chapter, and then go back to the rooftop. Maybe in Aurora she dies, and Onigashima looks like it's about to land. You do something like that, it's getting, and then it becomes a situation where now we can end the act. We go back into the Reverie and all of this, and we find out that the Revolutionary Army was on their way the whole time, and then the Revolutionary Army comes in and they're helping the citizens or something. They've been there the whole time, like, tinfoil and all of that, but the Revolutionary Army does have a stake in Wano. And I will say this until the end of the arc, that they should show up, that they should be involved. Even with all of the stuff that was going on at the Reverie, there's been enough time where, they could reasonably show up. Like, if they don't show up in Wano, then what was all of the setup for the weapons in Dressrosa, and with Koala talking about Drunken Iron Ore and all that? Why was that even there? The Revolutionary Army needs to show up in Wano, especially with CP0 here now, because we know that the final villains of this whole saga really aren't the Yonko. It's going to be the CP0 and the world government, because we're going to have the final war and etc. So we keep getting these subtle updates on CP0, but most of the time, I feel like we got the same exact thing like a chapter or two ago, where we just see Monocle Man and he's just got a question mark on his head. It's like he's just not doing anything. Momo's got to get over this fear of heights. It seems like Shinobu's using the glider, but it's a close-up, so we can't really tell. We could go back to the Wano mainland again. I think that it's time for Onigashima to start looming closer. We know that they're, probably above Wano now, but now is the time where we saw the citizens, they were still having fun. Now's the time for them to, see that an island is about to crash on them. Vernon Coe said, Randy, people are theorizing that Lindbergh made the mink medicine. That's interesting. Did we ever get confirmation that Lindbergh was a doctor and like a Viva card or something? Obviously he's an inventor, right? And he created that sort of ice gun that he has. And was it an ice gun? Well, I know he's got the jetpack. Zooknire said Lindbergh might be the snitch for the Revolutionary Armies. At least that's what I read somewhere. I saw something about that too, and that it goes with the. I just skimmed it. I'd be a little upset about that because I like Lindbergh. I like his design. I think he's really cool, but I'm here for it either way. So a lot of the stuff in this chapter, as far as like Tama giving the orders and everything, like everything's pretty straightforward until we kind of get to the end. We get that heat on feet. We get the reveal of Mads. Now they have a name: Caesar, Judge, Vegapunk, Queen. That's going to track with Kaido's experimentation, right? Because here, Kaido was experimented on by Mads, probably. But Queen works for Kaido, so something Kaido told Queen, made him, jump ship. So, that's going to come out eventually. We know that Sanji has to come to terms with his name, right? He needs a little more character growth. And he needs to become okay with that. Queen is going to probably know about the raid suits and know different ways to combat it. So it is an interesting and perfect matchup now that we get the confirmation that they were part of the Mads, right? But that's the rest of Sanji's arc in this, because he is the one that specifically, he's the one that cheered Momonosuke on for owning his name and all of that, but Sanji has still yet to really do that himself. And here, even still, he's saying, quit saying that name. Something needs to click, Maybe he learns something about Judge. Maybe Judge wasn't always a bad guy. I don't know. Maybe something switched for him. And that kind of tracks with what we know of Judge, right? He kind of he lost something and then couldn't get over it, and that's why he decided to pack up his army and keep on the seas and do all of those things with his kids. I'd like to see what Denjiro is up to next chapter. If he's going to run into Hiyori in the storeroom, or if Kawamatsu is going to run into Toki in the storeroom, whichever one of them it's going to be. I think it's high time we figure out who that is. Oda's been dragging that for a while. Ryo.
Savage.
Where are the numbers? So I would assume that some of them are on the live floor. I'm expecting Izo and Kawamatsu to probably take them out, since they're going to the live floor as well. I'd really like to see Usopp take out one of them, just because he talked about taking on the giants to Chopper on their way to Jaya. Taking out 10 giants. That was one of his lies. And, not that he necessarily needs to be responsible for taking them out. His lies can still be tangential, but it would be good for him, since he's part of the weakling trio, and we saw how easily Frankie took out one of them. So Usopp should be able to use some ingenuity and take out, something that isn't a little girl. Very motivated. Judge's son has such Boruto's dad energy. Bleh. So, Judge is Naruto? Vernico said the first 3 numbers still haven't been revealed. Yeah, we haven't seen all of them. We know that a bunch of them were up top, or a couple of them, or was it just one? Number 7 was up there or something? So they were taken out. I saw an infographic that showed all the ones that were taken out already. Yeah. There's definitely still more numbers to take out. Perhaps Apu could do something with them, because he seemed to be the leader of the numbers, right? So perhaps they come out. Maybe Usopp can get Drake out of his jam, and he can run into CP0. Cigar Patel, thank you.
Savage.
Could Moria create scabbard zombies / ghosts? Sure could. He could put a soul into Kiku's body, Kinnemon's body, and all of that, and raise them. And, you know, that would track with folklore as well. I'm still waiting for Moria to show up. I think that he's got just as much stake in this fight as the Revolutionary Army does. You know, I think that things are gonna like really heat up before it's gonna simmer down. Like, there's gonna be even more highs to all of this. Yamil Diaz, Limburg and Mads ? That'd be interesting, because he's also very I never thought of that. I like that. I like that a lot. Stefan Sokolowski. Thank you, my friend.
Savage.
Do you think that Blackbeard and possibly Whitebeard stole the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and Shanks possibly stole it back, giving him his scars in the process? Sorry if someone asked. They just joined. Love your vids, man. Thanks. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. So we didn't talk about the possibility of Blackbeard and Whitebeard having the Gomu Gomu. I think based on what we learned in this chapter, that doesn't seem likely. Because that would make Shanks's scar in chapter 1 fresh. Right? So that had to have happened in a completely separate occasion, because Shanks would have been all bandaged and all of that if that was truly the case. I don't think that they had anything to do with the Gomu Gomu no Mi and Shanks stealing it back. I think that this is something that someone had the fruit, someone major, and then the world government, much like with the Opi no Mi, did everything in their power possible to keep the fruit safe and to keep it within their grasp. And somewhere along the line, much like the Opi no Mi, they lost it. Because I still believe that the Opi no Mi was being used by the Gorosei and Emu and all of that to continually give lifespan either to them or to Emu, and that they were feeding it to slaves, and then the slaves would give up their lifespan, die, and then they'd feed it to another slave, and then so on and so forth. And then at some point, the fruit fell out of their hands, started transferring. That's why it became such a high commodity, and then that's why the government was so gung-ho about getting it back, particularly that fruit, right? They wanted it back, but then Corazon decided, like, no, I'm going to save Law with it. So, yeah. Ryo said, I'm still waiting on the Big Mom Pirates before Moria shows up. You know what would actually be really funny? Is if the Big Mom Pirates finally making it up the waterfall again, right? But then Blackbeard and his crew knock the ship down again. Like, Lafitte flies out and like kicks the ship off. That'd be a major feat for Lafitte.
Bro, look, he got the heat on feet, bro.
Got the heat on Lafitte, bro. And then it would just be a bunch of flying, you know, people that just keep kicking the ship off. That'd be interesting. You know, if Oda wants to keep, you know, hammering in the same joke. Catching up on the chat. Oh God. Enigma Sword said, what if instead of calling Randy Dave, we specifically refer to Power Scaler Randy as Dave? Oh man. We all got jokes today. I love it. Foreign guy, please stop with the spoilers, bruh. That's what people come here for. So as far as like hard predictions for 1018, right? I mean, I've talked about a lot of things that, you know, should happen in the next couple of chapters. I really, I think we need more information on this, like, who's who, Gomu Gomu no Mi thing. You know, I don't want Oda to... I don't want Oda to drag this on, you know? I want to know. You know, I don't want a storeroom silhouette thing. I want the next chapter to sort of really lay out some information here. Let's get a who's who Shanks flashback here. That's what I'm hoping for, you know. There are characters that we have not focused on in a while, and I think that it tracks that we should, right? So I really think next chapter should have an update on Robin and Brooke, and we haven't seen anything with Drake and Apu in a bit. So I think if we're going to stick with the live floor and all of that, then that's what's going to happen. So I think if I was going to structure 1018, I would love to see, you know, and if it's not the end of the act, right? You know, we come back in, we get a little bit more of who's who and Jinbei. We go back to the live floor. You see Drake and Apu or something. Something happens. I don't know what. We go back to Robin and Brooke. And if it's the end of the chapter, then, I mean, if it's the end of the act, then we go back up top to Yamato and Kaido, and we, you know, maybe Yamato's defeated or something. I don't know. But if it's not the end of the act, then, you know, we just continue pressing forward, and hopefully we get more of Sanji and Queen. I want to take a look back at this Mink Senzu Bean area again. So I'd like to see the effects of Zoro eating this thing. Ah, yes, so it is the Ming Senzu Bean. Yeah, I missed this line because I was too busy laughing at the Chopper thing that he said, I had no clue you had this sort of remedy on Zoe. So Zoro's going to be in a bad way when this arc is over for sure. But this thing is going to... We're going to get that moment where he's going to bust out of those... he's going to bust out of that Zoro pack. And he's going to have an epic moment. That might not happen in 1018. That might happen in 1019 or something if we don't end the act. And we still have to get more of an interaction between Perospero and Marco. So if we're still hanging around the live floor, might be an opportunity for Perospero to finally sabotage Marco with King, and then Zoro can come in and then sort of establish that he's either going to help Marco with King or he's going to take King. And, that's going to be coming soon. And maybe it's not a situation where... maybe it's not a situation where Sanji saves Marco from the candy that Perospero would trap him in. But maybe much like Kinemon was able to actually even produce flame with his sword on top of cutting it. Maybe Zoro figured that out as well. And then uses the flame on his sword to save Marco from some candy. But, I wouldn't necessarily like that. I like the idea of Zoro cutting fire. I don't like the idea of Zoro producing fire with his sword. Because then that's just going to make the Sanji and Zoro stuff even more toxic if Sanji's thing, fire, is also taken by Zoro. But, man, what a chapter. Let's see, how long have we been going? Yep, just about time. I think I'm going to start wrapping things up here, guys. We've hit our normal stop time of about 2 hours. I'll do another look at the chat, take a couple more questions, and then I'll see everybody when I do the review. And we'll do our win counter. Which is always for fun, guys. It's not like I'm over here bragging and stuff. That's not the point. I got a comment on the last video that was like, I'm gonna stop watching you because all you do is put the win counter or something like that. I don't know. And it's like, okay, so obviously you probably haven't watched a lot of videos where you understand that the only reason I do that is because it's stupid and fun. Not here to brag. I'm hopefully here to make people laugh and entertain. AJ put the power scaler emoji and said, "Did you know that Dave can beat Randy in a fight? He must be YouTuber level." Let's see. Again, I want to thank everybody for dropping by. I was looking forward to this chapter all week. Oh man, that final page, guys. That final page. We've been waiting for that information. We've been waiting for some spicy Gomu Gomu no Mi information. Emil Diaz, next chapter, Zoro breaks from the bandages like the Rock breaking from a cast. That's gonna happen. He's gonna break out of that pack. I'd love for it to be next chapter, but we'll see. Bodega Vega. It's a Senzu bean with drawbacks. Senzu beans should have had drawbacks. That was just such a device in Dragon Ball. If you're going to have something that's so beneficial, you have to have a drawback. The only drawback to Zenzu Beans was like, we've only got 6 of these guys, and we're down to 1. Matt Stefanowitz, I just noticed Randy's drip could stuff my guy. Certified drip. Ryo said, think we're going to get Randy, we're going to get any more Frankie versus Sasuke next chapter? I mean, I'm always here for it. I'm still waiting for that reveal. Now, here's the thing, right? Is that Denjiro, in my mind, is only going to go one of 2 places. And I've said this. He's either going to show up to Frankie's fight with Sasuke, or he's going to meet Hiyori, if it's Hiyori that was in the storeroom, right? And if Denjiro shows up to help Frankie against Sasuke, and we know that there's already that established friendship between Sasuke and Denjiro, right? That's going to help bring Sasuke over to our side. And then if Frankie steps out of Frankie's Shogun, and then all of a sudden Sasuke finally recognizes him or whatever as being Kokoro's son, Frankie can recognize Sasuke or something, that he's Kokoro's son, Chimney's dad, whatever. Or maybe they never met, but some sort of line of dialogue clues each other into that. I just think it's going to be such a waste if Oda doesn't make that connection. So I think by the end of it, most of the Tobi Roppo are going to switch sides. Probably not who's who now that he's a CP9 agent. But even Ulti could come up at some point. Certainly not next chapter, but towards the end or whatever. And when they see that Kaido can actually be beaten, and then their will that they had when they were pirates on their own before Kaido broke their will, then suddenly they can go ahead and do that. Could Black Maria switch as well? Who knows? But a lot of people have speculated that Black Maria is also something, maybe a CP0 agent or something like that as well. I don't know. I mean, she has had some dialogue that is like a little fishy, but I think that also just stems from the fact that none of them really want to be subordinates of Kaido. Lou Patterson, thanks for the stream, Randy, as always. Yeah, appreciate you guys here. You and Maxo, all that. Rhino with mustache. King will try to attack Otama and Zoro intervene. Okay. I mean, we know that Zoro and Otama have an established relationship, so, I'm okay. I'm here for that. Roberto said Randy's at least first commander level. Seb, music, Randy, you're the best. Thank you, Seb. You're the best for being here. All of you are the best. Everybody, we the best, right? We love Khaled over here. We the best.
Another one.
Giovanni Velez said, no, I'm mad with Oda. I need an info dump chapter on Hunter x Hunter level. No picture on anything more. Yeah, I need the narrator x narrator chapter of One Piece as well. Oh, man. Lucy B said Akira Toriyama has obvious weaknesses in storytelling. Yes, Oda is the superior storyteller. That's why we're here talking about him and not Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is good for what it is. And it is what it is. But One Piece is One Piece. Ryo said, didn't Weed say 1017 would end this chat? Act 3 would end in 1017? No, he said 1018. I think that's what everybody's saying, you know, Weed included and all that. Seb Music, thanks for joining the channel.
Another one.
Loggy Doggy said Khaled had a free concert at my college a few years back and barely anybody went. That's sad. That's sad. I saw Khaled live like 2011, 2012 or something. He was with Rick Ross, Wayne, and Nicki Minaj. It's like they were all on tour together. Khaled came out, and, you know, dropping the We the Bests and other ones. It was fun. The Yonko Alliance. All right. So I'm gonna run, guys. Thank you all for coming. As always, I'll see you guys for the review. I'd really like to get out a little short theory about like what I expect from a Kaido Rocks flashback. So I kind of want to film that during the week. I don't know how long it'll take me to edit or whatever, but it's going to be most of the stuff that I talked about during the stream, but, you know, enhanced and with, you know, paneling to sort of give my my claims basis. But it's going to be more, I think it's going to be more one of the more tinfoil-y theories that I'm probably going to put out, because it's really all speculation. I mean, it's bordering on fan fiction. I'm just going off of where the story has gone and what I expect with almost no context. But thanks again, everybody. A lot of fun. This chapter was great. We got got a little bit of spicy info. Got some spicy info this one, guys. All right. Yep. Say bye to Dave, guys. Dave's gone. All right. Have a great rest of the weekend, guys.